who they are, where they live, their backgrounds, what their thinking is, what gods they listen to, if they're married or not, if they got children or not, because like a lot of these professional doctors and these people writing about kids and how to raise kids, and you reading this, especially if you're a parent like I am, and you read this stuff, you're like, huh? And you try this stuff and it don't work, and then later you kind of find out that these people don't have children, and oh, and what's interesting is people that don't have children have no idea what they're writing about. You have to have kids to understand that. Like my daughter, she'll cry and stuff like that. My wife's like, well, you're just too nice to her. You should spank her. And, like I think I spanked my kids in the States I think I spanked them once when they came to Japan. And I was like, most parents, they'll pick up something instead of using their hands, so I had this vacuum hose or something. I was spanking them, I hit them a couple of times, and then and when I did it, I was like, wow, what am I doing? Spanking them isn't going to help. I'm not. Why should I beat my kids? I would. I had my spankings when I was young, and I didn't like it. And it didn't change me. It didn't do anything. You just get used to it and whatever. Say, okay, fine. I gotta live in a house 18 to 20 years with this. If I was my children, this was I would, and if I was them, I would think about this. This is what I would think about. I would say, wow, my father, he's such a jerk, and I gotta live with him for 18 years, 20 years old. But it's cool, I'll deal with the beatings and stuff, and then once I get older, I'm gonna leave. I ain't gonna never talk to him again, And that's just a fact, and things like that can't happen. So, I did it and I stopped, and then the reason behind it, it was like this one guy, my ex wife's ex-husband, we were all like, we were still doing business together. He's from Canadian, some white guy, he's Jewish guy, and stuff like that. And he was, he made a lot of money in Japan, and he blew it, and it wasn't because the money he made wasn't because of him, it was because he tried to do something, and then his wife, or I should say, her once upon a time wife, showed him a place where he can do it, and then he did it, and then he explained it to her, and then because she was in Japan, she knew the resources. She knew a lot of things about her country that he didn't know, and the language and everything. So she went on doing all this stuff, and then together they made like a lot of money and stuff. And like I said in my other videos, he's a legend here in Japan. His name is Joel. I forget his last name, but his name is Joel, and he's from Canada. And a lot of people from Israel came over and doing their business and stuff, and a lot of people got money. Made a lot of money out here. And from what I've heard from other Israelis, they told me that he's very fit. He's a legend and stuff. This was years ago. But and I guess everybody else now, they all old and stuff. And it's just interesting, how all this stuff works out, and how business work out, and the philosophies and stuff like that. And like a lot of times when I talk about people, I always like to bring their backgrounds, their countries, their religions, what color they are and stuff like that. And the reason I do it is it has nothing to do with being racism or whatever. It just gives you a basic idea of who these people are. So then, just in case if you do want to make judgments or things like that, you can say, oh, okay, I can relate to this person, or I can relate to that, or I can understand the conditions living in a certain town where he lived in or she lived in and stuff like that. And there are benefits to that. People like to say, don't do that. But, the whole thing about life is you should know everything that you can about a person, the histories and all of this stuff, because all this stuff is connected. And what it does is not so much to point fingers and stuff like that, but even more than pointing fingers, to correct the situation and to reverse the wrongs that's done. Because like what happened in Katrina, FEMA didn't react fast enough. They said it was like these white guys went in with some film was like, oh, they couldn't get in and help the people. But then I think it was like 3 white college kids showed up with water and stuff and was giving it out free and stuff, and the blacks there, it was like, well, how'd you get in? They said, people can't get in. And they said, no, the roads are clear. You can come in. Look, we're here. So you're thinking like, okay, what's really going on and stuff? These people really care or not? But then even if they care or even if they didn't care, it doesn't matter, because as adults, you should always be prepared to help yourself anyway. So regardless of the fact that the floods came and those levees broke and stuff like that, a lot of people didn't want to leave. They just didn't understand the actual, how can I say, the actual essence, I guess I could say that, of nature, of Mother Nature. When that water comes, it's pushing everything out the way, because whatever that force that generates that stuff, is powerful, and it's enough to really hurt you. And a lot of people probably died and stuff, and a lot of people don't respect this stuff. They're too busy to risk their own lives so they can protect some material stuff, but once you're dead, somebody else is going to come in and take it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Protect yourself. And the whole thing is too, like, when disasters happen, people are not prepared, and why people aren't prepared. Why do you have to have people? I mean, of course, if a tsunami comes, it's really nothing you can do about it. The only thing you could do is have early warning systems and have ways for people to evacuate as fast and as smoothly as they can. But then to be totally ignorant of the fact that if something does happen and you get injured or you got some people that's injured and you don't know how to help them, and you don't know how to assist and things like that, then there's no excuse for that, okay, nowadays, okay, back in the old days maybe, but in the old days people did help, some didn't, but, still. So that's what I'm saying about your own philosophies and things like that. You older men, you're still young. You still have a lot that you can contribute and things like that, and you still have the opportunity to live your life and enjoy. Like I always talk about travel and stuff. You come out here, like I just got finished teaching one of my students in Starbucks. This girl, she's 8 years old, not 8, 10. Her and her mother comes in, I just teach the girl and stuff. And I was sitting in next to us, these 3 ladies, and I don't know how, I want to say they're older than me, but they couldn't be in their 50s, but I'm sure they probably were in their 40s. But they were dressed nice, and they still look nice, very attractive. I don't know if they're married or not, but, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and they out, so maybe, they're just, could be wives hanging out or friends hanging out, just for a whole day or whatever. But, in Japan, the older people, they're still young. And so when you're in America and you're living in the ghettos or the neighborhoods or the hoods, you get out of there. And if you can't go to another neighborhood and talk to people because they might be ignorant and stuff like that or don't want your company, then you save your money and you travel. Because when you travel, there are many, many, many opportunities out there available for you. And the whole thing you have to remember is no one knows where you come from. The only thing they're going to know is what you inform them of. And that's it. Where do you live? I'm from New York. Oh, wow, New York is such a beautiful place, and I want to go there, and the people are so nice. You're thinking like, huh? No, not these people in this neighborhood next to me, and not these people, not the police, and not this. What are they thinking about? But the glorification of your country, wherever country you're from, and other people see, like I might say, wow, Spain is such a beautiful place, and da-da-da-da, and other people like, huh? It's terrible, and things like that. So basically what I'm saying is your philosophies and your thoughts, you guys write these things out, you try to get them professional, and you get into this world of education, this world of knowledge and intellectual thinkings, and start creating things and start studying things. Because if you're 40 years old, you still got at least another 40 to 50 years to be on this earth. And if you blew your first 40 years, well, you know, your next 40 to 50 years, if you blow it, then you're just going to be a straight fool. So get out there.